Hey, now it's the Bergie and Booker show. He's Big Ten Bergie, but he's also a soothsayer. I'm just Booker. Bergie, I got to hand it to you. We're rocking it out because LIV and the PGA Tour, or should I reverse that and say the PGA Tour and LIV have decided that they can play in the same sandbox.
Yes, I was right. As a husband and father of four, I love when I'm right. And I've always loved when I'm right.
Is that the first time in 2023?
Yeah, I can tell you, it is unbelievable. Number one, I'm surprised it happened as quickly as it did.
Mhm.
And I'm going to say that the first two majors pushed it faster than the PGA wanted it, because they don't want to have four majors and three of them won by a LIV player.
The LIV guy,
right now they're 1-1, but the LIV was damn close to winning the first one as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, my glasses and the hat, we the people for America, and my glasses were for Phil because he looked like Phil out there. But it's common sense. They got to merge. I haven't read all the details, but it's going to be play both. And if you want to keep your card, you play your 23 events, and that's that. The PGA was losing people left and right.
Yeah, and is there any way that the animosity towards Greg Norman is reversed, or is he going to be persona non grata for the rest of his life?
I don't know. Details are literally today is the day it happened. Literally, I'm on a work call, I'm looking at it come through, and we're seeing all this. So I'm assuming details will come out. I originally thought that Norman was going to have to step away, and the PGA director was going to have to step away and sort of govern it itself. That was if it was going to take longer. When the first two majors were LIV guys all over the place, and the TV camera crews are getting shit because they weren't covering guys that were in the LIV tour on the first one, and they didn't. There were guys in the top five that they didn't cover, and then all of a sudden, when a LIV guy wins the next one, I think they said, we're now looking at like even bigger asses than we did before. We got to fix this.
For those of you who don't know, in the Masters, in round one, I think it's statistically, they did not show one LIV guy hit one shot.
Yeah.
They could have been making holes in one. They'd be like, oh, it's alleged. We don't have any video proof.
And they had three guys finish in the top five of the Masters. And they had a LIV guy win it in the next one. So I think they fixed it. What is funny to me is, and again, I always thought it was completely what they decided to argue was the Saudi money.
Right.
And that held no weight with me. And because you did that, now what, it's okay. It's had they gone with this is the traditional, we're traditionalists, we're this, then they could have stepped back and said, well, it's an ever-changing world and we have to change with the times, and we want the best golfers to be playing with us, and we want, a community of golfers, not exclusionary and all that. They could have done all that horse shit. But now they stuck with the money, and all the people that sat there and said that it was dirty money. Are you not going to take the dirty money now?
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, they're going to be taking a lot more money.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I do know about the tour events. And it was even seen on the PGA Tour. Their purses escalated very quickly in the last 12 months.
The guy who won Sunday's Memorial won $3.6 million.
And then he caddied the next day for his,
I saw
his Oma boy.
I'd like to know what the Memorial paid out 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Nowhere near 3.6 million.
Oh, no way. And
no.
they also showed, God bless Jack Nicklaus, one of the greatest guys ever. They showed in the broadcast his opening tee shot for the ceremonial tee shot at the Masters.
Yeah.
I guess Father Time is really undefeated.
Yeah.
Because Jack bent over and teed his ball up, and he looks at the crowd and he goes, that was the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I think that the LIV and the PGA it'll be evolving for sure. But let's get the best, because they were going to lose all the non-Americans, I think. And I think they were going to lose what's the guy?
Some of the good Americans.
Yeah, well, they were already losing that, but I think they were going to lose all the non-Americans because they were going to say, screw you, the Japanese tour, the European tour, Spanish tour.
Hold on. I know one guy they were not going to lose.
Who's that?
Who's not an American? Rory McIlroy. How are they going to pair Rory and Phil together for the U.S. Open?
Well, he started walking back his comments about 2 months ago, and I'm going to be really excited if he gets into a Sunday major with a LIV guy. I'm going to be really, really excited.
He's been playing well.
Oh yeah, yeah. And what about the guy that did well, the PGA Tour professional guy? I mean,
yeah. And then he shot what 80?
Yeah, and everybody predicted that was going to happen. But my point is, like, that happens and he wins 1 or 2 more. He's going to the LIV. And then you got a whole nother, marketing mess. You got one of your teaching pros jump into the LIV tour.
That would be a disaster. That's what the PGA Championship's all about, is the PGA non-touring pros, the PGA teaching pros getting a chance to tee it up and put their peg in the ground right next to Rory McIlroy.
And I do think that it's going to, when you're talking about golf, it's still it's not as bad as baseball. Like, people that watch baseball, it's just old white people that watch baseball in the regular season. That's all it really is in this country. And obviously you have some other ethnicities, but when you're talking about TV ratings, that's all it is. And it's a regional sport that nobody watches the national game anymore. It just doesn't happen. And golf, pre-Tiger Woods, that's all it was. With Tiger Woods, when he was a player, everybody was watching it everywhere, and he brought sports to it. He made it an athletic event, and he did that. Tiger's getting older, and I believe common sense would tell you that even with all the young stars, we're losing some viewership and from the PGA, and this might be a way to bring some excitement into it. Yes, is it Kardashian like? Yes, is it WWE like? Yes, is it Instagram meets professional golf? Yes, all those are yeses. But that's where we are in 2023. So if it's a little bit of entertainment and a lot of golf, but it's a lot of good golf. I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it till I'm dead. I don't mind seeing Paulina as often as possible inside the ropes, outside the ropes, and at
the pool.
In the pool when they're.
I'd rather see her at the pool, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So let me ask this question: is there any way I can get 10% of Tiger's first payment for a LIV event that he plays? I just want 10%. That's pretty fair.
Yeah, and that's going to be the question. Are all these guys who were so against it, because Tiger doesn't need the money. So if Tiger is such a traditionalist, is he going to play a LIV event? What about McIlroy? Is he going to play a LIV event? Or is it more like, hey, these guys aren't going to play. We're going to pay them more to show up at our events. Is the PGA going to now pay these guys not to go to LIV, but also realizing they've got to let the LIV players play in their big events? I think
I can tell you, every time I've spoken with Tiger, he has not complained about the lack of money that he has and his net worth. He has never brought it up. But I will tell you that in a year or less, I think that he will get such a big number to go play in a LIV event that not that he needs money, but he would just be a fool and just donate it to charity. And, he's already a hero. Imagine if he does that. Because they're going to.
How they didn't see this coming, the LIV Tour, when they started all these made and paid for TV events with golfing at night, Phil, Tom Brady, all these guys. That's what the LIV has sort of made that, but made it a lot more competitive. And we'll see. I'll look and see what the breakdown is. But are we going to have an AFC, NFC, all-star tournament now? Are we gonna have a LIV versus PGA all-star tournament?
And you say that, it's interesting because the Ryder Cup issue might have been part of those scales of, like, as a PGA Tour, and I think they in the European Tour do the Ryder Cup, and they have their points and their all this and their selections, captains picks. They were trying to say no LIV players in that, and that would have been a chunk of the Ryder Cup teams on both sides of the pond.
I think if you paid any attention to it at all, after Brooks won, a couple of guys came out and said, we want the best players on the Ryder Cup. We're tired of losing. And once they started saying that, and once the guys did well, I think there was a lot of pressure on the PGA to find a path for these guys to get back in good graces. All they did, I think Dustin Johnson's the only one that withdrew. At least in the beginning, he's the only one that withdrew officially from events. I think the other ones were basically banned. I may be wrong. I'm not a big fact checking guy, but I think he's the only one that officially went through the process.
I know one of the facts that you've checked is Paulina Gretzky's Instagram posts per day.
Yep.
And the other fact is, I think now that we're getting into this discussion about it, I think Greg Norman might be the only person who loses out of this whole thing. Although he already cashed a pretty big check.
Yeah, he got money. I think he's getting exactly what he wanted out of it. He got a big, to the PGA. That's what he got. And I think that's all he really wanted out of it, because he's been talking about this in some capacity for a number of years. So he won. There's no doubt about it. He absolutely won, unless his main goal was to destroy the PGA. But if his goal was to be a thorn in their side, they accepted it. He won. He won in record time.
Record time and money wise too.
Yeah, and the question is, what do they do with the TV contract with the CW, and what do they do with all that stuff? That's all going to get wrapped in. The lawyer. Do you know who else won? The lawyers. The lawyer fees.
They always win.
Well, and there's going to be lawsuits dropped, so they're going to have to figure out a way to make their money. So it'll be in going over all of the TV contracts and all of the streaming, because LIV was on YouTube, and people that were watching LIV, all right, they didn't mind watching YouTube streaming. So now the PGA is probably going to jump on that and get some money from YouTube TV.
Sure. YouTube TV is sponsoring the NBA Finals.
Yeah, that's the only.
It's on ABC, but they're still sponsored. They're the sponsor of the NBA Finals.
That's how we watch television here. We don't have cable in Siesta Key. So we watch YouTube or Hulu or Paramount or ESPN Plus. I watch all the lacrosse all year on ESPN Plus, unless it's on, the ACC network or the Big Ten network, because it's never on, the major networks. It's on ESPN towards the play, in the tournament and stuff like that, and Big Ten on Sunday nights. But if I want to watch all my friends' kids play at Division I, which I love doing all day long, Saturday, Sunday, or Tuesday or Thursday for the girls or whatever, I put everything on ESPN Plus, because it has every game. It has every single game. The announcing might suck in some of them, and you might have some bad people, but you get to see kids play. So without that streaming option, you're locked out now.
Yeah, it's the new way to go, is YouTube TV.
Yeah.
And the LIV Tour. The LIV Tour is now okayed by the PGA Tour.
It's a win. It's a win. It's a win for Norman. It's a win for Pat Perez. It's a win for Patrick Reed. It's a win for Phil Mickelson. And I wait about 2 or 3 months when something comes out that Mickelson and Johnson and some of these guys got really big bonuses when the PGA came.
You think so?
Maybe that's where all their money was coming from. Maybe the 270 million guaranteed. Maybe there was 50 of it back-ended to when the PGA signs. I don't know. But anyway, I'm a LIV guy. I'm a PGA guy. I'm usually about, being against everybody. But for this, I wanted everybody to be part and be in it together. So I won.
He's Bergie. I'm Booker. LIV Tour gets the check mark. We'll talk to you soon. We do what we do.
Winning.